Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to Your Football Predictions, the series where I put my predictions up against your predictions for the weekend's football and we see who comes out on top. So my predictions from last weekend, I said that Crystal Palace would beat Chelsea 2-1 and they did it. I don't get many predictions right, but that was spot on, okay, if I do say so myself. I had that the Liverpool-Man U game would be 1-1. It was the very boring 0-0. I said that Newcastle would win 1-0. We were close at times, but it was actually 2-2 against Southampton. And I had that West Brom would beat Leicester. That was actually 1-1 in the end. So, loads of you guys commented your predictions from the weekend. So thank you for everyone getting involved. But only one person got 2 correct scores, and that was Matthew Paul. So, he had that Southampton would draw with Newcastle 2-2, and he had that Leicester would draw with West Brom 1-1. So I've put Matthew's YouTube link down in the description. Make sure you go and subscribe to him. I already have. And as always, if you want to be shouted out in next week's video, make sure you get your predictions down in the comments. But first, we'll have a run through of this weekend's games. First game up is Chelsea versus Watford. It's on the Saturday at 12:30 kickoff. So, Chelsea playing Roma in the Champions League tonight, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And they were having a very good season until they lost against Man City, and then at the weekend, lost against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace did have a very decent game, but at the same time, they were bottom of the league, didn't have a single point on the board. My prediction, I went for Crystal Palace, but I still kind of thought Chelsea should be beating them. Watford, a few weeks ago, they lost against Man City like 6-0. But other than that, they've had an extremely solid season so far. They are actually higher than Chelsea in the league. They are 4th, Chelsea are 5th, and they beat Arsenal at the weekend 2-1. So, I think this is going to be a very, very close game. But I think Chelsea would be disappointed if they didn't beat them. Although Watford have been doing well, like I said. But I'm going to back Chelsea for this one. Back into the swing of things with a 2-1 win. The 3 o'clock game we're going to be looking at this weekend is Newcastle versus Crystal Palace. I will be at the game vlogging it as normal, so make sure you check that out on Saturday. Start off with Crystal Palace. They are not having a good season, but they might be about to turn things around. As I mentioned, they had done absolutely nothing until they beat Chelsea 2-1 at the weekend, which is huge for them. I was saying before the game, I wanted Crystal Palace to win because they were playing us next. And I know what Newcastle are like, and if they'd lost that game against Chelsea, they would have definitely come to St James's Park and done something. But their confidence is going to be high coming into this game, but hopefully we will still get a result against them. We've had an extremely solid season so far, 9th position. Draw against Liverpool, draw against Southampton in the last 2 games. And yeah, I'm going to back us to get the win in this game. Obviously, they're going to be high on confidence, beating Chelsea, and it's never going to be an easy game in the Premier League. But we have been doing pretty well recently, so I'm going to back a 2-0 Newcastle win. Next up is the Sunday game, 1:30, and that is Everton versus Arsenal. So, both these teams are playing in the Europa League tomorrow night. Arsenal are playing, and forgive me for this because I cannot say it, Cruza Zunzad. I don't know. I should have got Google to translate. Should I get Google to translate it for me? Okay, so I was never going to say that. So that is who Arsenal are playing. Everton are playing Lyon. That was slightly easier to say. Everton. Yeah, they just haven't they had a tough start of the season, and I've said this a few times, but recently they beat Bournemouth, which is great, but then they lost against Burnley and drew against Brighton. So although they had a very hard start of the season, they haven't really done it in any of the games so far. So playing at home against Arsenal is going to be, they need to get back on track. They spent a lot of money in the summer and they need to get into it soon. Arsenal, they have had a decent season. They are currently in 6th place. They did obviously lose against Watford at the weekend, which, again, is not a great result for them. To be honest, I'm thinking draw in this game, so I'm just going to slap down a 1-1 draw. And to finish things off on the Sunday, 4 o'clock kickoff is Spurs versus Liverpool. Spurs drew with Real Madrid 1-1 last night, and Liverpool beat Maribor 7-0. So, goals in this game. Spurs are currently 3rd, Liverpool are currently 8th. Spurs are having a very solid season so far, and yeah, Liverpool are still a bit up and down, but we know they can score goals. They just scored 7 last night, so I don't know. I just think that Spurs are on a high at the minute. Obviously, Liverpool will definitely be on a high as well, but Harry Kane is. It's at Wembley. Spurs don't like to win at Wembley. Although they did beat Bournemouth the other day, I'm gonna hit up a draw. Lots of goals, 2-2 in this one. And that is it, guys. As always, I hope you have enjoyed the video. Make sure to get your predictions down in the comments. And like I said, whoever gets the most correct scores will be shouted out in next week's video. If you're enjoying the series, drop a like, subscribe if you are new. I should have FIFA video out tomorrow as well. And like I said, Crystal Palace at the weekend. So thank you for watching, and catch you later.